With our graphs today, we are going to be looking at a correlation coefficient. So our graphs today will not make a line. If you see in the pictures, it'll be a lot of points, a lot of dots. So our correlation coefficient will tell us if the dots go together or if they don't go together. So if you look at these examples, you can see these dots get pretty close to a line. They're pretty close together, they're going in the same way. So since these are close together, these are strong. And since from left to right, it goes down, this has a negative correlation. If you look at this one next to it, you can see a lot of the dots are still going down, but if we look, they're not as close together. So this would be a weak correlation because they're far apart. But most are going down, so it would also be negative. If we look at some more pictures, you can see here's another picture where they're far apart. So this would be another weak correlation. But if we look at these are all going in an up direction. So this would be a positive correlation because it goes up. And if you look at the last picture, these dots are pretty close together. So remember, when they're close together, this is a strong correlation. And as we go from left to right, this line goes up. So if it goes up, that means it is a positive correlation. So sometimes you will look at a graph, but other times we will look at a number. So when we look for this number, it's going to be somewhere between -1 and +1, with 0 in the middle. So the closer that we get to +1, it's going to be a stronger correlation. And since this one is positive, the correlation is also positive. And then the closer we get to -1, again, since it's a 1, it's going to be strong. But this time it's negative. So it will be a negative correlation. Now if it's 0 in the middle, then there is nothing. The dots are not connected. But now we have space in the middle. So if you get a number, let's say 0.1 to 0.5. So we look, it's not 0, it's not nothing, it's not 1, it's not strong. So this gap right here would be where we have our weak correlation. And again, this side, these are all positive. And then if it's anywhere from 0.5 up to 1, these would be our strong positive. The closer to 1, the stronger it is. And the same can be for our negative side. So here, if we say -0.1 to the middle of -0.5, here where it's in the middle, we can say, well, it's not 0, it's not none, but it's not one, it's not strong. So these would be our weak, where they're far apart. And again, our numbers are negative, so the correlation will be negative. And then if it's anywhere from this negative 0.5 going up to 1, this is where we would have our strong negative. So again, the closer to 1, the stronger it is. So now, for all of these numbers, we will get it from the calculator. So I'm going to show you how we will find this number. So first, we need to set up our calculator a little bit. So everyone will need to go in their calculator, and we're going to push these buttons right here. So we're going to start by clicking Mode. So Mode is next to the blue button. I'll press Mode, and then I'll press the up arrow 5 times. So I'll press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see it should be next to Stat Diagnostic. If I look at my screen, it says Stat Diagnostic. Right now it's off. So I want to go over and press Enter to where it says On. If this is not on, you will not get your answer. So once I turn this on, we're going to go through steps that we've been through before. So here I have a table, and in my table, X is always on top, Y is always on bottom. So I want to go to my table, so this is where we'll go to Stat, Edit, and all of my X values will go in L1, all of my Y values will go in L2. So for L1, I will type in 17, 0, So I've typed in all of these numbers. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 19. I think I missed some. 17, 0, 5, 10, 18. Ooh. 5. 0, 0, 2, 3, 6, 9, 19, 18, 0, 2, 3, 18, 6. Numbers, 19 numbers. Okay. And then L2, I put all of the Y numbers. So I start with 73. Do 68. 89, 497, 86, and 100. Oh, 100, 92, 68, 24, 76, and 63. All right, so these are all lined up. So we're going to do the same steps that we've done before, where we press Stat, then we go over to Calc, and we still want number 4. And I'll press Enter. And now here, it's the same thing as before, but it's a little bit longer. So if we look, before we've written down A, our slope here is negative 1.23. So for my slope, negative 1.23. The B is 92.41. So now I can write an equation out of this. So I can write y equals, I'll put my slope first, negative 1.23, and then x plus my y-intercept, which here is 92.41. So we've done this before, but now the new part is looking at the r, our r value. So if I look, I want this last number to be my r value. So this one is negative 0.74. So my r is negative 0.74. So if we go back and look at our numbers, we can say, okay, it's on the negative side, and 0.7 is going to be bigger than 0.5. So I would say negative 0.74 falls about here. So this is in my group for a strong negative correlation. So for the meaning of my R, since it's negative and it's close to 1, it would be a strong negative correlation. So you'll be looking at graphs, and you can use these graphs up here to help you. Are they strong? Are they weak? Are they positive? Are they negative? And then you'll be looking at R values. So this right here, these are R values. To know where does it fall? Is it close to 1? Is it a strong positive? Is it close to 0? Is it weaker? Or is it a negative on the negative side? So use these notes to help you as you practice looking at the correlation coefficient.